So, before I really get into what we are talking about today, I just want to disclose that, and this isn't to put anybody down or put myself up, but what I am teaching on today's call is very high level from an energetic and conscious macro economic lens. So, if something isn't making sense to you, I really invite you to write it down and ask a clarification question at the end. This is technically a call for my mastermind people that I have just opened to the public. So I will be teaching it at the level that I usually teach to them. Um, this is a pitch-free masterclass. I was going to make a pitch, but in all honesty, by the end of me presenting this to you, I think that it is just going to be no question that if you see a future for your business in this market, that working with us is the only option that makes sense. So I will drop a call link for anybody who wants to book a call at the end. And me and my team are more than happy to help and talk to you guys completely pressure free to see if we can point you in the right direction. And if that ends up being with us, that's amazing. So, with that being said, let's begin. One more thing that I will say is that I, as a presenter, am an absolute slut for the chat. So, what I am going to do is make sure that everybody who's on this call is present and engaged. So, if you're here today and you are ready to evolve, just type in the chat, I'm ready. I'm ready. So, okay. There's a lot of people in here. I'm gonna make sure I get all my comments in. Okay. Now, I invite one more thing for all of you on this live and anybody who's watching this not live. It is very easy for our egos to convince ourselves that this is boring or we don't understand something and we want to pick up our phone and get a dopamine hit because we're used to being pacified and we can't focus on anything for our own future benefit for longer than 5 minutes. So I encourage you all to try to challenge yourself to completely be present on this call for the next hour and really lean in and focus. My only ask really is that if any point in time during this presentation you hear something or there's a slide that's really valuable to you, it would be really valuable for me if you were to just take a quick photo, post it on your Instagram, give us a tag, and just help us grow the message. Other than that, let's dive in. So what I'm going to talk to you guys about is evolution of consumerism. So for those of you who don't really know me, I am a business coach. I'm a leadership coach. I've been doing this for a long time, and I'm really obsessed with the continuous studying of macroeconomics, buyer psychology, epigenetics, energetics, human psychology, human behavior, human performance, spiritual evolution. There's a lot of things that I am really passionate about. And as I continue to learn about these things every day and every week, it's allowed me to create a little bit of a hypothesis and see where I'm seeing humans transform and evolve, and really just seeing a massive macro trend in terms of business, social media, people in general. And so this is kind of this presentation is more thought leadership than anything. And again, I want to help you digest it, as much as possible. What did I just do? Did I stop sharing my screen?
Yeah, maybe slide it back, Nick.
Let me just redo this. I apologize. If you're in my community, you know it's very normal for me to have some sort of issue with a call. Okay. So today I'm going to teach you how consumerism is evolving, how the market has evolved, how the market needs to evolve moving forward, how to position yourself, and what I believe is next for business. If everybody's cool with that, just type cool in the chat. So let me ask you this. You can pick a number between 1 through 7. How many of these are you noticing right now for yourself or your own business? People aren't buying as much. People aren't engaging with content as much. Ads aren't working as well if you're running them. DM outreach is feeling impossible. Maybe the algorithm doesn't show your profile anymore. Clients are dropping off. Sales calls are harder to close. How many of these are you experiencing? Okay, so a lot of people experiencing more than one. A lot of people experiencing more than three, four. Okay. So we're on to something here already, huh? Let's dive in. Before we get into understanding where consumers are evolving, first, we just need to understand a little bit about the history of the market as a whole and how consumers have evolved around that. So this is the boring stuff, but we'll get to it. So in 1776, Adam Smith is actually the guy who created capitalism. Now, real quick, when you think of the word capitalism, just type in the chat like 3 words or less. What does capitalism make you feel? There's like a connotation around capitalism. What does that word register to you? Somebody please mute yourself. Salesy, money, greed. People don't care. Icky, America, taking advantage, ownership, people who can't mute themselves on calls. Yes, yes, yes. All of those. Absolutely. So what was really cool about Adam Smith's idea here was that his main notion was basically that humans are self-serving by nature. And so if everyone just pursued their own interest, the needs of society would be met. Jake, can you mute yourself, please? So I think this is a really cool concept. If you really think about what capitalism was meant to be, it was, hey, if you all go do whatever your heart is called to do, by nature, everybody's going to get their needs met. That's clearly gotten lost over the years. Would you agree or would you disagree? Comment in the chat. So this took us, right, like all the way up until what was called the golden age of capitalism, which was right before right between 1944 and 1970. So if we really look at this, I mean, capitalism has been around for hundreds of years, hundreds, 200 plus years. But then something started shifting. And in about, don't quote me on 2007, but right around 2007, conscious capitalism was put on the map. If you guys don't know who John Mackay is, he owns Whole Foods. Everybody here heard of Whole Foods? Come at me if you've heard of Whole Foods. So John Mackay basically, he came out and said, hey, business should actually operate ethically while pursuing profits. So if you really think about Whole Foods and their ethos, I think Whole Foods really is kind of cornering the market when it comes to a grocery store that operates out of integrity. Would you agree or would you disagree? Like that for me, that's just like, yeah, everyone's like the golden standard of of that hippies, right? It's just there it is. So most industries, and this is just my hypothesis. This is something that I've observed. Most industries go through the same phases as they gradually mature. So I'm going to who here works out? Comment me if you work out. Okay. So everyone, I mean, I'm assuming every single person on this call, if you are a coach in some capacity, that you staying in shape and physical fitness is a non-negotiable. So let's look at the fitness industry for an example. When the fitness industry first really popped, even though capitalism has been around forever, it starts as a capitalistic movement. So what does that kind of look like? It was everybody who immediately started launching fat loss programs, booty burn workouts, summer shred programs, courses. Gymshark's a really good example, right? Does everybody remember the days of like shreds and all the fat loss pills and just all of these crazy asinine claims for things that work? And the consumer was so new to the market that they were like, oh, there's absolutely no reason you would lie to me. So that pill must work. And over time, the market started to evolve. because consumers stopped buying the bullshit. So it started, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, it stopped being who has the cheapest course, who's the cheapest coach, and it started becoming, well, which coach is actually going to care about the people more? What company is actually caring about the quality of the ingredients inside of their supplements? Are you guys with me on this? So the markets start to evolve. It was capitalism, and then or not users, buyers, the consumer started saying, "Oh, wait a minute. I don't trust this program anymore because I've been burned so many times." How many of you guys have been burned by a course, a program, a coach, or anything of the sort? You bought it and you were like, "This is a fucking ripoff. You scammed me." Capitalism. All right. And you didn't do any research and you learned your lesson and you went, okay, now I get it. Now I understand. And you evolved as a consumer. So now you became a conscious consumer, which means you only really are responding or interested in businesses that have some sort of energetic feel of conscious. Am I wrong? Do you agree or do you disagree? Have you evolved as a consumer? Obviously, you're on this call. Uh, but now let's look at this. So the fitness industry went to conscious capitalism, then it really hasn't evolved since then. And so who's noticed just this trend and how people work out? First, it was all the circuit training, and then it was everyone wanted to compete in bodybuilding, and then it was everybody wanted to do CrossFit, and then it was now everybody wants to run, and now everybody wants to be a hybrid athlete. Do you guys see these trends? Do you guys see what's happening? Remember, this is macroeconomics. These are cycles. There is a cyclical shift in consumers. Why do we think this is? It's because, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, how about this? How many of you guys have changed your training style in the last year? Like just like the way that you do things. You're like, I'm bored. Okay. So just real quick, why did you change it? Why did you change it? What did you need? Boredom. Your body needed it, different goals, structure, different goals. You needed to be challenged in a different way. You wanted to grow and you didn't feel like you were growing anymore. There was nothing that was really taking your mind or your body. Yeah, you were evolving. Thank you, Noah. You got it. So you started to evolve away from the thing. And so the market didn't evolve with you past that point. So the consumer starts to shift over to the next new thing. And then they start the cycle all over again. Are you guys with me? Is this making sense what I'm saying? Cool. Brittany, can you mute yourself, please? So now the question is, well, how can we put the next step up so that the consumers that are currently in your program or currently in your audience have more room to grow inside of your program or your coaching? Does that make sense? Do you guys see the trajectory that I'm trying to create here for you? Cool. Cool. So now, 2024, the market is calling for the next evolution in capitalism. If we go back to this, the market is calling for this. It needs it. I need something more to evolve with me, or I'm going to just keep going and finding the new thing. But then we get bored again and we jump to another ship. And then we jump to another ship. And for some reason, we can never seem to find the thing that quenches our thirst. So the market's calling for us. Now, before we get into what the market is calling for, we need to understand capitalism a little bit more and conscious capitalism, not cannibalism, a little bit more. So capitalism, capitalism is an economic and political system in which a country's trade and industry are controlled by private owners for profit. That's it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight to you guys what the three main objectives of business are when they're operating in capitalism. And I want you all to be very fucking honest with me if this is how you're operating business right now, because the more honest you are, the faster you'll have a breakthrough. So, objective one is to maximize the market for profits. Basically, we're trying to get as much money as we can for the thing that we're offering. The second objective is to focus on quantity or volume when it comes to business growth. And then the goal is to cut expenses however possible. So, what does this look like? I just need to get as many clients as possible paying me money. I got to cut all my bills. I got to all unnecessary expensive. I don't want my overhead to get too high. Who operates business with these conversations with themselves right now? Just comment me. There's no judgment. So what we're seeing right now, thank you for everybody who said me, you guys are already starting the evolution by just being honest with yourself and having new awareness. So props to you. But let's think about this. This is an outdated way of thinking about and going about business. So, how many of you guys have been taught business this way? Send 100 DMs a day. When you have enough money, run ads. Here's how to convince people to pay you on the phone when they're not actually aligned with your program. Charge as much as possible. Pay your employees as little as possible. Get as many people as you can. Yeah, the client experience isn't that much. Just get pay in full so that they have to stay in the program no matter what. Who's experienced something like this? Or how about this? Who's even just seen business being promoted this way? Let me wet my whistle for what's coming next. So it's operated under the stance of profits over people. And I don't know about you guys, but that just doesn't feel right for me. It doesn't sit well. But this is what happens when we're running business in a capitalistic way. It means we don't have integrity for the people. We're just trying to maximize our bottom dollar. And so we can evolve this. And when we look at what conscious capitalism is, conscious capitalism, I love this, is a business philosophy that encourages companies to consider the ethics, sustainability, and purpose of their actions beyond simply maximizing profits, basically. Okay, so it's a little better. There's an evolution here. So the objectives of conscious capitalism are to maximize the quality of what we bring to the market for profits. So capitalism is maximizing the market for profit. Conscious capitalism is maximizing the quality of what we bring to the market for profits. So, but the objective for growth is still the same here, I've found. Again, just my thoughts here. Robin, can you please mute yourself? So we're still focusing on volume when it comes to business growth with this model. And then the other objective is to have the higher quality product than the competitors. So how many of these are still focused mostly on the people? Not really any of them, in my opinion. Robin, can you please mute yourself? Thank you. Anyone comment in the chat? None of these. So if we see that the objectives are still relatively the same as capitalism, and the only difference is that we have something higher quality that's been brought to the market, I think there's a gap there still. Let me ask you this. What type of beef do you all buy? You go to the store. What's the golden standard quality of beef? It's grass-fed, right? Grass-fed beef, baby. That's conscious capitalism. Okay. What kind of fruit? What's the fruit that you guys buy? It's organic. It's got to be organic fruit. Oh my God. If it's not organic, I'm not eating it. It's so much better. Why? Because actually, you tell me why. Why? Why is that the beef and why is that the fruit? It's better health, the way it's marketed. It's better quality, right? You guys are more conscious around the choices that you have. So quality is now a dictating variable in your consumerism. Do you see where I'm going with this? You've evolved as consumers. So you now make quality the most important thing for your purchasing decision. So let's talk about this a little bit more. Now there's good things when it comes to capitalism. We're going to get to the evolution in a second. Just bear with me. There are good things with capitalism. We need to promote them. Now, have any of you guys taken a picture and posted it on your story yet? No, still time. But that phone, that's capitalism. This computer, this Zoom that we're on, that's capitalism. Capitalism has brought us innovation. Everything we're currently experiencing is a byproduct of capitalism. That's amazing. I don't want to demonize it. There's efficiency. It gave us the tools to buy back our freedom by getting more done in less time. We went from riding donkeys to driving cars to taking planes. And now we all possess the ability to get access to anyone's attention if we try hard enough. Yep, Amazon's another great one. Innovation, efficiency, attention. Capitalism's amazing. But there's also an ugly side of it, which we all know. Right? Snake oil sales, pyramid schemes, the abuse of consumers, manipulation of markets, scams, fear-based marketing. It's ego-driven. Anybody ever seen these type of tactics being used on social media by other businesses? Maybe you've done some of them yourself or do some of them yourself. Fear-based marketing looks a lot like, well, I only have one spot left. And if you don't sign up right now on the call, I don't know if I'm going to be able to give it to you, when you really have 3 clients on your roster. That's fear-based. That's manipulation. You with me? Now, I'm all for running the deal. I'm all for saying, hey, I'm going to give this to the first 5 people. Totally cool with that. But if there's a real intention and you uphold it, that's different. So, to summarize, capitalism, maximizing the market for profit. Everybody with me? Everybody understand capitalism? Did I explain that in a good way for you? Give me some validation. Great. So now conscious capitalism, it gave us choice. Like we all just talked about. We all just talked about for why you do grass-fed beef and the organic fruits. It's empowered consumers with the ability to make more conscious decisions about the quality of a product or service that they've purchased. How many of you guys, you don't just sign up with the first coach you see on Instagram. You take a second, you look at their content, maybe you look for their client testimonials, and you're pressure testing them to see if they're actually a good choice. We have the ability to do that. Nobody does that? Nobody wants to comment in the chat? Come on, y'all. There's promptness, right? There's faster purchasing decisions from the consumer because their ability to dictate what is quality and what isn't quality is a lot higher. Think about how fast you take in the grocery store, unless you're just doing it for pleasure. I know a lot of girls like to just go walk through the grocery store. I've been yelled at by this from Kelly. But like, you know how sexist? Yeah. Oh, here we go. I can already hear the Reddit threads. Anyways, and people are able to publicly check others' experiences in regards to a product or service. So conscious capitalism just gave us all of these resources to really be able to consciously choose the quality of the products that we consume or the services that we buy. That's pretty cool. I don't know about you guys. I think that's pretty cool. So, now here's the ugly part of spiritual capitalism. And spiritual capitalism is where we are right now economically, in my opinion. So when it comes time for looking at the ugly, when I say new age word magic and spiritual manipulation, what I'm saying here is the overuse of buzzwords. When people start promoting their services in ways that are super confusing and they start leveraging spirituality, your highest self, abundance, embodiment, your energy, and your this. Everybody seeing those, right? Oh, what was your highest self do in this moment on this phone call? Is your highest self scared to spend $25,000 on my program with no deliverables? Huh? Money is abundant. What's your coaching offer? It's 8888. No. The lack of regulation, the impulse decision making, save me complexes. There's a ton of entitlement and it's still ego based. And the entitlement that I'm talking about, and I'm going to come at all of you with this one, and I come at you with love. The entitlement of conscious capitalism is, well, I've been posting on social media for 2 weeks. Why don't I have clients? Well, I've been doing my daily non-negotiables for 12 days. I'm bored. I don't want to do them anymore. There's an easier way for me to grow and scale my business. There's not. This is kind of off topic, but it's worth it. The boring stuff, it is the person who can stay dedicated to the boring stuff for weeks, months, and years that builds the wealth that all of you drool at. Everybody wants to drool and manifest the car, the house, the bank account, but nobody wants to do the boring, mundane things necessary to earn it. That's entitlement. Anyway, so conscious capitalism is maximizing the quality of what we bring to the market for profit. Does everybody feel like they got a good understanding of conscious capitalism? And can you guys see the evolution? Are you guys with me? We all on the same timeline? Cool. So now what? Surely we can all agree that we're headed, oh, there's the typo. We're all headed in the right direction. But evolution is still needed because consumers are looking for that next thing. So I'm calling this spiritual capitalism, and there's a few reasons. Now, I think there's a big misconception around the word capitalism and a lot around the word spiritual because of how they've been abused and how they've been anchored and leveraged. And so I think we can change that. So I'm not done with my definition of spiritual capitalism yet. This is just what I've kind of nulled on and chewed on for this presentation. So to me, spiritual capitalism is the integration of soul into business, the philosophy of using business as a vehicle to deliver a universal truth to a world in need. Now, what I mean by this is I'm not sitting here trying to sell a coaching program. I'm sitting here trying to sell a move. Actually, I'm not trying. I'm creating a movement with this. And so there's a universal truth. Sorry, Kelly. There is a universal truth that you all have that you are trying to deliver with your services. But if you continue to keep your program surface level and you continue to operate and an outdated business metric that people are not receptive to anymore, you are going to continue to fall short. So what are the objectives of spiritual capitalism? If we remember, capitalism is maximizing the market for profit. Conscious capitalism is maximizing the quality of what we bring to the market for profit. And I think spiritual capitalism is maximizing the quality of what we bring to the market for the people. So it's people focused. And we focus on impact and legacy for business growth. My growth is dictated by the impact I'm having on those people and the legacy I'm leaving by what those people are going and doing after. That's how I want and how I believe business needs to start being quantified if we're going to make it in this new shift. And then the last objective is creating a movement that inspires people. So when I look at just this slide right here, and you guys can agree or disagree with me, this feels like the direction we're headed, consumerism and market-wise. There is a need, a thirst for people to want to evolve and be a better version of themselves and be a part of something bigger. People are searching for culture. They are searching for belonging. They are searching for meaning. Everybody wants this, but not very many people are delivering it, which is why if we can position you properly, you can get ahead of this market. And we've seen it with our students. So spiritual capitalism, it is soul-led business. It's leading with integrity, humility, and presence. It's like, and when I say that, I mean, you're actually in it with your clients. You're not just getting them in the program and then shifting your focus to getting new clients. People don't want to feel like numbers. They want to feel valued and cared for. Am I right or am I wrong? So this whole movement that I'm trying to get everybody to understand with business is that business is collaborative and heart-centered. I believe right now business is being used to manipulate and abuse people, and it should be used to connect and serve. It's powered by that spiritual compass, and that you call that the intuition, the embodiment of who you are and what you do. There is no separation. Leading with love to be of service to the world and walk in the path of light. This to me encapsulates what is going to be the metric of business success moving forward. Actually, what already is the business metric of success, because of how consumers have already shifted. The market just isn't caught up yet. Now let's talk about this. It's not enough anymore just to have a quality coaching offer. I want to say this again. You having all the training, you being able to deliver an amazing transformation, it's actually not enough. Look at conscious consumerism, or I'm sorry, conscious capitalism. Quality is what everybody is competing for now. Am I wrong? No, it's not enough. How many of you guys are looking at your service and you're going, I really have a fucking quality service? Like, I'm really good at what I do. Why are people not buying? Who's experiencing that right now? Say me in the chat. If you're experiencing that right now, you're like, what the fuck? I'm so good at what I do. Why don't I have more people buying? It's because that's not enough anymore. Your growth and development as a leader has never been more crucial for your business longevity. I cannot be more serious. Energy never lies. It's not about the quality of coaching that you offer. It's also about the quality of coach you are. And it's the quality of energy you bring on socials, in person, to your clients, everything. Shout out to Sam, hyping me up. I paid her to say that. The lifetime value of your growth will be reflected by the lifetime value of your clients. So remember that ladder that we just talked about? You also have a ladder. And if you stop climbing that ladder, actually, the level at which you stop climbing that ladder is the level at which clients will start dropping off, because you cannot take them somewhere you haven't gone. So your clients will outgrow you. They will leave. They will evolve past you because you don't think that you doing the work on yourself has a business result. You're going, why would I meditate? Why would I do personal development work? Why would I work on leadership? I'm trying to get more clients. I want to make more money. Oh, I'll worry about all that other stuff once I make more money. How's that been working for you? Like, let's just be really fucking honest. You guys wouldn't be on this call if what you've been doing is producing the result that you want it to produce. Am I wrong? So it might be worth having the conversation with yourself that what you're currently using or what your current values are might not be in alignment with what the life is that you claim to want. People want the surface level result at first. Maybe somebody wants to come in and find a relationship. Maybe somebody wants to come in and lose 20 pounds. Maybe somebody wants to come in and make $10,000 a month. What happens once they make that progress? Where do you take them past the physical or the surface level? Do you have somewhere? Where do you take yourself? Now, this is going to happen in any container. When your basic survival needs are met in your business, you don't try as hard. Am I right or am I right? Most people come in and they have a metric that they think they need to get to, and they go, I just need to make $500 or $5,000 a month. And then you hit it. And now all of a sudden you're lazy. And all of a sudden the scarcity that you've used to pull yourself forward and work and take action, it's gone. So you stop doing all the things. And then all of a sudden, 50% of your clients drop off. And now you're back down to $2,000 a month. And now you go, holy shit, I can't do that. I got to go and I got to go. And then you get back up to 5,000 and then you rest. You're like, I'm good. I don't even care about this. I'm the man or I'm the woman. I'm making 5,000. Maybe it's 10,000 for you. Maybe it's 50,000 for you. You hit it once, you go, I don't need help anymore. I'm good to go. and then you self-sabotage and you come right back down. Anybody experience that? But bam. If I asked you what the end goal of your business is, would you be able to tell me? Yes or no? Come in the chat. The end goal. If you don't know what the end goal, the North Star is, where you literally say, once my business has achieved this, and it's a specific thing, you could literally close the doors of the business, walk away, and say it's successful. If you don't have that, you're not going to push yourself past your own needs being met. Think about this. No, not for the client or the profit. The business. What is the end goal for the business? What is the purpose of your business in the first place? Everybody will have a very broad, non-tangible outcome, right? Help as many people as possible. Make as many women as possible feel beautiful. Help as many people as possible change this. That's not specific. That's not an end goal. What is the end goal of your business to where you say that was it? That's a vision. If you have no vision, your business has no future. If your life has no vision, then you have no future. If you don't have something that is bigger than you just making enough money for you to be physically content, your future is going to look a lot like the past. You're going to be in a loop over and over and over and over, always convincing yourself that you got to pay the bills and you got to make just enough and you don't have the money to invest and you got to say no to vacations and maybe we can save up and go next year and not right now. It's a busy season. I can't take work off because we're a little behind. That is a byproduct of not having a vision bigger than yourself and your business. Your values are jacked up. What is the universal truth that you are delivering to the world through your coaching program? Now, I know not everybody on here is a coach, but you can figure it out through your program. What is the universal truth you are delivering to the world? Really sit with that. Don't worry, I'm sending out the replay so you guys can all watch this back and take more notes. You can just be present right now and think with it. What are you selling that's bigger than yourself and your service? Like I told you guys earlier, we are not selling just a coaching program. We are selling a movement. We are literally selling what is coming next for the entire market. My vision is clear. Our mission, I know it. There isn't anybody that can convince me otherwise. I know that it is irrefutable where we are going. What is that for you? To where no short-term discomfort can rock you off the path because you know that North Star is inevitable. You know that that truth is the way. So let me ask you all this, and I'm not done. Are you building something to serve the world or something to serve yourself? Answer honestly right now. Good for you. So for all of you who said the world, you're building something to serve the world, but you don't know what the end goal is? Then how will you serve? How could you serve if you don't know the end goal? Something to think about. I asked this question to my mastermind students on a recent call. Your face is on the cover of Time magazine 5 years from now. What's the title? Your face for your business, for what you've achieved, is on the cover of Time magazine. What are they saying about you? What are they saying about what you've done? What are they saying about your contribution to the world? What are they saying? Sit with that. Now, these are some of the values that I've created for spiritual capitalism so far, just to give you guys more context. Purpose over praise, meaning I'm not sitting here trying to be everybody's friend. I'm not actually sitting here hoping that all of you guys agree with me on this movement. I know the purpose of this call is to grow the movement. I don't need your praise for it. You are my friend. Vision over vanity. The vision has to become more important than yourself. Culture over credit cards is my number one. I've been saying this forever. You let anybody into your program just because they have a credit card, even though they're energetically not a fit, you are putting your entire culture and your entire program at risk. Energy is contagious. Do not just take anybody with a credit card. You need to have values and standards for the people that you work with. That's why we have a 3-step interview process before we even let somebody into our programs. Mastermind is a harder entry point now. People over profits, giving over getting, service over sales. Let's move on. So how do we position yourself? How do you position yourself? So we all have 3 different versions of ourselves. You have your personal self, who you are with your family, your friends, maybe your partner when you're all alone. You have your public self, who you are on social media, who you are when you're at a party, who you are when you're getting introduced to new people. And then you have your business self, who you are when you're talking to your clients. Thomas, mute yourself, please. Who you are when you're speaking to your clients. Thomas, mute yourself, please. Who you are when you're speaking in your business, your customer service voice that you put on when you're giving clients feedback. Hey, yeah, oh my God. So like totally love that you sent this. And maybe next time we can just do it a little different. Anybody have a customer service voice with their clients? Come on, call yourselves out. Who has a customer service voice with their clients? Oh my God, yes. Yeah. Oh gosh, I'm so glad that you brought that up. Thank you so much for asking. I know that was so brave of you. That's not real. That's not real. So your personal self, who you are in your personal life, what you talk about, think about, believe in, support, don't support. This is you. When you're on the couch and something's going on TV and you make that like comment that you wouldn't make publicly because God forbid people know, that's your personal self. Your public self, who you are in public, the customer service voice. Oh, I mixed these up, but it's okay. That you put on before you start filming for Instagram, or the version of you that's more proper at an event, etc. Right? Everybody has their social media voice too. It's like you're talking like this, and the second camera goes on, you're like, guys, hello, friends. Oh, I just want to talk to you guys real quick. Oh, such a beautiful day. I'm so positive. And then you have your business self. The professional coach costume you put on to always position yourself as a person of authority, influence, and value. So the real way to position yourself is by having all 3 of these be the same, to where you are so embodied in what you sell, who you are, what you think, what you do, that there is no separation. That is true freedom. Everybody is searching for freedom. Comment me if your goal is freedom. Everyone. When I say embodiment, what I mean is that and honestly, I will not penalize any of my staff or anybody right now who's on this call. I am the same person with clients, with my staff, with my friends, with myself, with my social media. There is no difference. Staff, yes or no? You'll all be fired if you say no. No, but for real, guys, I say this because I pride myself on this. That is how I can build indisputable trust with myself, because I know that it doesn't matter where I am. I'm not putting on a mask. I'm not trying to pretend somebody I'm not in order for something to happen. So when you are operating outside of this circle, you're in capitalism. Are you guys with me? Because if you're operating outside of this circle, you put a mask on for social media because that's who you think you need to be to maximize profits. You feel me? Oh, I'm going on social media. I better pretend to be somebody else so that people sign up and pay me. That hitting for anyone? Mm-hmm. When you operate inside of this circle, that to me is spiritual capitalism. That to me is being the walking embodiment, doing the leadership development, doing the inner work, spiritually integrating your integrity and weaving your soul into what you do. Now, that to me is the most scalable, future paced, integral way that we will be able to do business moving forward. Now, real quick, before I move forward in this presentation, what I want to do is I actually want to highlight a few people who want to share that have made this shift and have seen results from it. So I already talked to a few people beforehand. Ben, can you share with us a little bit of a story of, and all I'm asking these people to do is highlight how they were operating in business, the work that they've done, how they're operating business now, and what's happened as a byproduct. We'll Spark Notes it.
Yeah, so a few months ago, I had a call with Nick, and you get a one-on-one call with him in the mastermind. Hint, hint, everybody. But we had a call, and I was really stressed out, and I was wearing all of these different hats. So for some perspective, I own a personal training gym, also an online coach, and then there's a few other things I do, like I sing opera, and I'm like a big wildlife Florida man person, and I try to like do all these different things. And what I realizing, I was just like spreading myself thin, like really, really desperately for no reason at all. I was like, dude, I'm trying to fit in all of these different boxes and I'm coming up short here and doing all of this. And he's just like, dude, why are you not just letting all of these things embody who you are as a person and then just represent all of those things as a person that who you are? And I was just like, huh. And so after a while, I just started posting literally whatever I wanted to post and whatever I was feeling that day, and started doing these day in the life videos and all these different other things. And my content went up and my call to actions went up, and literally every single thing, or what would I say? Inbound applications just like went through the roof. And yeah, it's been great. And so, yeah, now I'm just vibing.
Thanks, Ben. Britt, we'll have you share. Britt's been absolutely crushing it.
Yeah, thanks. First of all, sorry I'm in the car, but when it comes to the mastermind, so I joined in March, and was really just feeling like capped on my business and like didn't really know which direction to push in order to grow. So I joined the mastermind, and the first quarter that I was in the mastermind was like all of quarter two. My business did around like 211,000 for the month, which was pretty good. But it was lower than I had been the year before. I had 15 employees at the time, but I was really stuck on being able to get quality people who aligned with my culture. So, after joining the mastermind within 12 weeks, Q3, we generated 313,000. So we went up in revenue, 100 grand in 12 weeks. And then now I have, instead of 15 like aligned team members, I have 22 aligned team members. And we're actually getting ready to open up our second market this week. So see massive growth, and our culture has never been better, and it feels easier to manage because the people that I'm working with, like they like genuinely understand the mission and they work so much harder for it. So it's been incredible.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing, Brett. We're going to do 2 more quick ones. Brett had an amazing business win today on this, all energetic. Let's hear it, Brett.
Yeah. So, Nick, you and I had a call, like 2 weeks ago, where I was really struggling, and we were actually talking about why I've pretty much kept myself at the same financial level for about 10 years. And it came down to, the fact that I tie my self-worth to how much I make financially, and I'm actually scared of receiving love. And so by keeping my financial level down, I can justify this story over and over again of, oh, I'm not ready to enter a relationship, this or that, etc. And so since then, I've really been meditating a lot on it, doing a lot of meditations with you, Nick, and each day has been incredibly more profound than the other. And how that's translated to business, basically, and the things that I do is that part of my daily standards is to DM at least 5 new people each day. And so I've had some leads come in where I had 8 leads come in at the end of last week, and I DM'd the 5 people, and I was thinking like, maybe I save these 3 for tomorrow because it'll be easier to hit my 5 tomorrow. But I was like, no, this is me still holding myself back. I'm not allowing myself to receive, and being afraid, And so I was like, let me just DM these additional 3, so I'll get the 8 in, and I'll have to do 5 new ones tomorrow, and I'll allow myself to receive more. And the next day, I got 15 to message. And it's been way, way, way more than that. It's been incredible. And also, I didn't put in the business wins today either, Nick, but I hit my August goal. I just realized that as well. So,
And it's
we're
the
already at
12th.
that. Correct.
Let's go,
Yeah.
baby. Great share. So I want to highlight this. I got one more person to share who's been crushing it. And then we're going to get back to the presentation. We're almost done, I promise. But what I want you guys to hear in these, if you're listening, is that they have these voices telling them something else. They have these parts of themselves, these identities that they've created that are holding them back, that are convincing. Brett just said he'd been stuck at the same income level for 10 years. One identity shift, one new intention, he just hit his entire month goal in 12 days. That's not a coincidence. All right, last share, Noah. Noah is in Alchemist Academy.
Yes. Hi, thank you. You guys, the shares you guys have done have been super powerful. I joined the mastermind in January, and I was in a super tough place, like personally, emotionally, mentally. And as a result, my business was suffering. I left my corporate job, and then I ended up having athletes leave me that same month. So I was just watching my income stream out the door. And despite that, like being in the mastermind, I was so resistant to doing any of the work. Like all of it was laid out for us there. Nick has done a great job organizing everything. Everything's there for you. And I was like so resistant to it. I was just going through the motions. I was feeling super uninspired, like just not wanting to do any of that work. And then in June, I came to the live mastermind event because it's in Austin and I live in Austin, and it just completely opened my eyes to what's possible when you commit to something. At the beginning of the mastermind, Nick had us make 5 promises to ourselves, and that literally changed my life because it showed me the power in committing to yourself and what happens when you keep promises to yourself. Because I wasn't being the leader that I knew I could be, and the people around me were sensing that. And as soon as I committed to doing the inner work, actually showing up for myself, keeping my promises, doing my daily non-negotiables, everything changed. So in the last 2 months since that mastermind, I've almost doubled my income. I've grown 3,000 plus followers on Instagram. And for about 10 days, I went on vacation and I had no cell phone service, but I had posts scheduled. All of those posts went over 20 or 30 views, had comments, shares, and I was gone. I didn't see any of this growth. I just was so aligned and so just in tune with what my audience needed to hear. And I scheduled it out, came back from vacation, saw all of these inbounds. And just ever since then, like my engagement's consistently high. I'm getting constant calls every single week. I've booked at least 2 calls and I've closed at least 2 new clients. So I'm growing, not only like the business is growing, but me as myself, like I just see how much more radiant I am in life. Like just walking around, I just feel so much lighter, brighter. Like I don't experience creative blocks. I can just pick up my phone and put myself out there because I'm not afraid anymore to be seen. And I'm just so grateful to be here. It's been such a challenge, but truly making yourself do the things that you committed to doing, your non-negotiables, it changes your life. You're going to build so much confidence. And once I stopped resisting so hard and just truly surrendered into that, everything has changed for me. So I just want to say, like, it's an honor to be here. And Nick, thank you for creating this space for us. I'm super grateful.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, no, you want to keep going?
Yeah, I can wrap it up.
No, thank you. Thank you. I honestly didn't even expect, even though I paid and scripted that entire thing for her. I didn't expect all of that. So I really appreciate you saying that, Noah. But guys, like really, yeah, you really put Ben in his place. Ben didn't even talk about his income. But like really what I want to highlight what Noah said is that she started making the promises that she kept. She started keeping the promises to herself. And when I talk about, let's get back to the presentation now, because this will be full circle. When you're operating inside of this circle, your energy is different. When you are fully embodied in who you are, you're not afraid to be seen because you don't have to worry about what mask is on anymore. And this takes work. Noah said she was resistant to the work for 6 months. It takes work to do this, but it's there. How many of you guys, the thought of going on vacation with no service for a week gives you riddling, crippling anxiety when it comes to your business? Comment me. So the very thing that you've created to give you freedom is actually a prison because you're operating here. You see, nobody wants to do the boring daily promises and habits and non-negotiables that Noah just talked about. But when you do those every single day, when you keep yourself to a high standard, even when you're bored, you buy yourself freedom. When you don't keep the promises you make to yourself, you are keeping yourself in a prison. I'm here to break you all free. What you lack to get there is clarity. You lack clarity in your brand, your message, and yourself. I thought I deleted these little background things. I apologize. They're very cheesy. You sound like everyone else on social media because you would rather fit the mold than break it. It is easy to say the surface level shit and teach people elementary level information. Not be a thought leader. Go with the grain because then nobody will challenge what you're saying. If you really want to stand for something, you need to be a thought leader. And in order to be a thought leader, you got to have real fucking clarity on who you are. People aren't responding to surface level shit anymore. True or false? Damn it, Brittany. People aren't responding to surface level shit anymore. True or false? Wealth is not surface level. True or false? Good. Wealth is spiritual. True or false? True. Okay. When you act too much of the world in your ego and not enough of the spirit in the world, wealth will elude you. So what do I mean by this? When we looked at spiritual capitalism, we were talking about how they're ego driven. I want more clients. I want to have the highest quality. I want people to come to me. When I am acting of my ego, when I am speaking my message as a way to show how awesome I am, when I'm sharing my truth as a way to position me better instead of giving somebody else a way of breaking through and seeing hope, I'm acting of the ego, not of the spirit. I am of the world. I am not in the world. Does that make sense? This one's a little bit, I said, some of these concepts, I see you guys are smart. You need to be a thought leader. You just do. That's it. That's my thing. You need clarity on what your messaging is, what your brand stands for. What is it that you are selling? Who's it for specifically? Who you are, and why someone should trust you. That's real shit. The last one is the most important, but you'll never be able to answer that unless you know who you are. Because you can't tell someone why they should trust you if you don't even trust you. How many of you keep the promises that you make to yourself every single day, no matter what? Say yes or no. So of course you don't have an answer when you say, why should somebody trust you? I say, why should I trust you to coach me? You go, well, because I get results. Yep. So does a treadmill. What do I need you for? Right? Well, I get results. So does YouTube. This is what lack of embodiment looks like. And let's really think about this. You not upholding standards you set for yourself. You preaching a lifestyle you don't live. You wearing different masks based on where you are, whether you're on your phone, on social, at a party, at an event, gossiping about other people, resenting the success you see in others. Must be nice. Saying things you don't mean just to try and generate leads. How many of you are experiencing at least one of these or doing at least one of these? Lack of embodiment. Look, how we do one thing is how we do all things. There's no such thing as being out of alignment. You are in alignment with the life you're currently experiencing always. Embodiment. Consumers want to buy from people they know, like, and trust. Yes or no? You're a consumer. Do you want to buy from someone you know, like, and trust? Of course. How can you build that without taking a stand for something publicly? How can somebody really know you, like you, or trust you if you're not actually standing for something you believe in? How do you build trust if you filter yourself to be accepted? That's manipulation. Think about it. You put on a mask, you say what you need to, that you might not believe in, so other people do something you want them to do, give you money. That's manipulation. Is that high vibration or is that low vibration? And low vibration is what? Is that capitalism? I can't remember. You see, so business is really cool now, and I'm sure you guys can admit this. Entrepreneurship is one of the most spiritual journeys you will ever go on because you will never meet a depth of yourself. You will never see as many mirrors than when you start to be an entrepreneur. Everything reflects back your inadequacies, your shadows, the parts of yourself that you haven't worked on. Entrepreneurship is the biggest mirror. People want to know and see that you are who you say you are. They want to know that you are the walking embodiment of what you preach and what you sell. It is that simple. Consumers want culture, a sense of belonging. They want to feel inspired to be a part of a movement. Yes or no? From your own lens. Is that something that interests you? You have to evolve your offer and deepen the levels at which you can serve people. That's just where the market's going. That's just where it's going. We do this by deepening the levels in which we understand ourselves, and we equip ourselves with new tools, new training, new coaching, certifications, continued education. You have to heal. You got to heal your way to wealth. You cannot fight, scratch, and claw and manipulate your way to wealth. You might get rich for a season, but you will crumble and you will sabotage and all of it will fall. I know, I've done it. This is half the battle of building a recession-proof business and evolving. Half. So are you creating a business or an experience with your program? Don't think of yourself as an entrepreneur. Think about yourself as an artist. Are you creating a business or an experience? Comment right now. Do you have a business or do you have an experience? what you currently have, is it a business or is it an experience? So let me give an example of this. Everybody who was at my live event in Austin recently, in 3 words, describe that experience. 3 words or less. Euphoric, healing, eye-opening, enlightening, life-changing, profound, incredible, clarity, healing, family, truth. That's an experience. That's an experience. Love, community, connection, truth. I mean, I'm gonna actually, I'll say that story after I stop the recording. This is going out on the list for the replay. You guys, that's an experience. What do your clients say about your business when you ask them? If you had to ask your clients, describe the business, describe this in 3 words or less, what would they say? Everybody wants to talk about the recession. The real recession is a trust recession. Who has experienced this? It takes 10 times as long to get people to trust you, to even want a free resource from you. Anybody giving out a free resource and you're like, this is amazing, and nobody gets it? And you're like, what? People don't even trust me to take something free from me? Because everybody knows that if they get that free thing that doesn't even sound that valuable, now they're going to get blasted with your text messages, your fucking emails. They're going to start seeing everything from you. They don't trust you. It's not worth, the juice is not worth the squeeze. So here's the main question I want to ask you guys. We're going to finish up right now. The main question I want to ask you guys. If your ideal client saw a log of all the standards you uphold or didn't uphold in your life, your business, your body, your daily habits, your work ethic, they could see a log of everything you said you were going to do and what you didn't do. And they got to compare that to what you preach, what you sell, and the expectations you have for clients. Would they trust you enough to buy from you? Yes or no? When you say, I got these 5 habits I'm gonna do every day to grow my business, and you're like, no, I'm lazy today, I'm not gonna do it. Or I'm just gonna go eat out instead. A lot of people didn't answer on that one. I'm just saying. If your answer is no, your issue is not a lead gen. Your issue is leadership, branding, and embodiment. I want to say that again. If the answer is no, your issue is not lead gen. As much as your ego wants to tell you that you just need more leads, no, you will just get more people into your business faster that see that you are not the leader and the embodiment of what you're selling. You got to grow first. You need embodiment, truth, and conviction, because you're always going to feel like an imposter when you don't keep the promises you make to yourself. Always. You'll always be energetically off. You'll always have a hard time pushing people to close on the phone. You'll always have a hard time going on social media and calling people into greatness because you're not keeping the promises you make to yourself, and that's being mirrored back to you. In order for your brand to really stand for something, you guys have to stand for something too. And that's scary. That puts you out there to be very vulnerable, to be judged, to be hated, to be disagreed with. But if you really want to make something, and impact and legacy are your goals, that's what you use for your business metric of growth. That requires you to step out of the shadows and be seen. Wealth can't exist in shadow. Wealth can only be experienced in the light, in the truth. So what do you stand for? That's the question. That's the golden question. So that's the end of my presentation. These are my thoughts. This is where I believe the market is going. And I am more than happy to answer any questions that anybody has right now. If you just want to raise your hand, and then we can start talking about it. For anybody who made it to the end, I appreciate you. And if you guys want to book a call with me and my team and just see where you're at where we think you can be, where we can help you, pressure free. I'm going to put the link in the chat right now. Oh, everybody's commenting. I'll post it once everybody's done with the questions. Thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Are there any questions? Anybody need any integration? Cool. Then I'm trying to post the link. Mark, go ahead.
I was just curious how this ties in with conscious leadership. Is it
really great? I'm glad that you asked that question. So I believe that the way we shift from conscious capitalism to spiritual capitalism is on the back of conscious leadership. So conscious leadership is basically the encapsulation of how we lead people. It's kind of almost like a mirror of it, right? You needed people thinking a different way, moving a different way in order to bring conscious capitalism to light. Now we need people moving a different way, thinking a different way to bring spiritual capitalism to light. And I think a lot of times leadership is really grounded in look at what I can do. And conscious leadership is all about showing people what they can do. And when we can create a vision, a brand, and a movement that empowers people to evolve and really see how capable they are and give them that autonomy, and really, I think it's a lot of critical thinking as well. Conscious leadership is all about helping people think for themselves and not getting people to try to agree with you. That's why I'm always big on saying I teach philosophies. I don't really teach the truth. I'm kind of just positioning myself as a thought leader. And my goal is for people to be empowered to say, man, there's something here that stuck with me that I'm going to go change in my business. And to me, that's a conscious leadership seed. If I can help somebody go move about their life or their business differently and serve the world a little bit differently, that's a conscious leadership seed. And I think if that just continues to compound and grow, then spiritual capitalism will end up taking over the market regardless if it's with me or not. Does that make sense? That's a good question. I'm glad you asked because I forgot to put in a slide about that. Yeah. Any other questions or thoughts before we pop off? Caitlin?
Yeah. Hey, Nick. So you asked a question earlier on whether or not I have a business or an experience. And right now I have a business. It's very green. So how would you recommend I turn it into an experience?
You said it's very what? What was the last part?
Very green. It's fresh. It's new.
Gotcha.
And
So how do you turn your business into an experience? Well, I think there's a lot of different ways to do this. So I will just say the way that I've turned my business into an experience, and then you can take what resonates with you, is I'm not just focused on the business. I'm focused on the development and the transformation of the person. And my ethos, my philosophy is that your business is a reflection of you. So, and I've had plenty of students do all the systems and get nowhere because their identity was shifted. So my experience is the spiritual evolution of the self that people have inside of my business. It is the live events. It's the ego deaths, which I'm sure a lot of people could chime in on in the chat real quick. It is the multiple dissolvings of self that people experience inside of my container as well, because of how we coach and where we lead them. So we're like very heavily involved with everybody who's inside of our program. Like I'm in there every single day. I'm on calls every single week. We're super active and we're really focusing on people experiencing new versions of themselves instead of just saying like, here's the business, here's what you get, and leaving it at that. Does that make sense?
yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions for people? Olivia?
Hi there.
Hey.
I am in Kelly Pool's fitness program. Brittany is
she's the
my
Lord.
personal coach. I'm doing my 10,000 steps right now. So love the masterclass, great information. My question is, what does it say about us as business owners when we're speaking these concepts out in our marketing and our content, but the people around us aren't receptive to it? Is it just like a longevity game, or are we just not talking to the right people?
When you say the people around you, do you mean your physical surroundings?
I would say that too, but in my initial question, it was more so like my current audience.
Okay, yeah. This is a nugget for you guys. Don't make content for who you have. Make content for who you seek to serve. Make content in alignment with the new version of you. And here's the thing is, and I'm sure a lot of people can, if any of you have been on any sort of healing journey, you know that when you start healing and you start evolving, the people around you, you start speaking different languages. You stop resonating with them as much. They stop understanding you. You stop understanding them. You don't know why they do the same things. They tell you you think they're better than them because you're not doing those same patterns anymore. You grow. And as you grow and evolve, you let go of people that don't resonate with you anymore and you attract new people. But where most people mess up, and this is where I was talking about the entitlement thing, is that you'll start, not you, but everybody, you'll start posting a new view for 2 weeks and you'll start losing 50 followers. And you'll go, oh my God, this isn't working. Every time I post this, I lose followers. I better go back to posting the same stuff that I used to post to keep me safe. And that is like dipping one big toe into the water of the future that you've always desired, and then jumping back on land that you hate because the water was a little too cold for you at first. You have to go all in, and you have to sit there long enough to let yourself, your truth, and your conviction move things the way that they are meant to move, to calibrate. As long as we are in this 3D existence, manifestation is going to have some concept of time behind it. So we have to learn to be patient and trust. This is why I said that spiritual compass is so important. You have to be able to really heal enough to be able to deeply, deeply tap in with yourself and say, is this my truth, even though it's scary? And if the answer is yes, then you just keep trusting that and you keep moving on and you keep speaking it and you get more conviction. And eventually you look up and you have everything you've ever dreamed of.
What comes to mind right now is energy moves faster than matter.
It does, which means it can also move back to an undesired reality very quickly. The level at which you guys can shift realities is dictated by the emotions you feel associated with them. The emotions of your past are so much more intense than the emotions of your future, that every time you try to visualize this next version of you, or you having consistent 10, 20, 30, 50, 90K months, you get excited for a day. And then one thing happens and all of these energetic memories from the past come up and put you right back into that old reality and that old state. And you believe it. So whatever emotions are strong enough are the emotions you will believe, and whatever emotions you believe are the reality you will keep yourself inside of. Does that make sense for everybody, what I'm saying? So we have to make our future feel so much more heightened emotionally than anything we've ever experienced in the past, or we will keep recreating the past over and over and over and over. And that's where the real inner work starts. You'll never create a reality greater than the emotion that you felt in the past.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Final call? Everyone's good? Cool. All right, everybody. Thank you guys for coming. If you watch the replay, there should be a link to book a call also attached with this. So if you guys want to chat with us, we are more than happy to talk to you and at least just put you on the right path.